That's right.
I'd like to ask about working with someone else. You did Killing Time in St. Cloud.
Right.
And how was it to work with another writer? Did you like that?
Well, working with Rebecca was wonderful.
Was fun?
I mean, we're good friends, very close friends. And we decided we wanted to write a book together, but Rebecca said, okay, here's the deal. The minute it stops being fun, we're not doing it anymore. And then she said afterward, she said, yeah, well, you just have to keep redefining your idea of what's fun.
You know, Mary Monica Pulver said the same thing when she was working with Margaret Fraser. That after they wrote several of those books, they just said, you know, this isn't as much fun as it was, and it's going to be less fun if we keep on going, so let's stop. So they did.
They did.
And Margaret Fraser went on and became the author of that series of
interesting.
Very, very well thought.
And Mary Monica has no ill feelings of any kind about that. She said it was time for me to move on and do something else, and so she did.
But I always wonder about you know, how that works, because I don't think I could do it.
You're going to have to wonder on your own.
Is it time?
Oh, no, that was much too fast.
That was darn it. More questions.
Well, we got to mosey on down the trail, you see. So we're going to look at some of the titles of your books, and we appreciate that they're all still available, I believe, in bookstores all over the place.
I think
Pretty much they're still in print in some form.
At least, yeah, in some form or another.
Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate
This was my pleasure.
We'll be back in a
Totally
few
my
minutes.
pleasure.
You all take care, and we'll see you in a few minutes. That was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
That was wonderful.
You see this look on her? You probably missed it.
I am just glowing. It was great.
A good interview.
Yes.
You know, I've noticed something in doing this series, that in spite of what you sometimes hear about authors, good authors make good interviews. You notice that?
I think it's true.
Not that we've had any bad authors on.
Do you know, the one thing that I didn't say about Judy Guest when I interviewed her was simply this: she's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet.
Yeah,
and
you're
funniest.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
So we were talking about movies and ordinary people, and so let's continue talking about movies and adaptations and arguing about that and that kind of thing. Who's your? Let's start with you. Which books of yours would you really like to have made into movies?
My favorite book in the series is The Iron Girl, and so I guess I'd have to say that book.
You don't have to.
I've written a screenplay for an Intimate Ghost, which a production company was interested in, and they produced a script that was so unbelievably horrible that I said, "Will you give me an opportunity?" And they said yes.
So how was that experience?
What did you learn from that?
Your book and writing your
I
own
loved it. When you're writing a screenplay, you have to strip everything down to what you can represent through dialogue, image, and action. And that's all you have in a screenplay. You get about 105 pages. I loved every minute of it. Honestly, I did.
So who had played Jane Lawless?
Well, who would play Jane Lawless? Initially, I think I thought Laura Linney. You know, I mean, I just love Laura Linney. And she has this sort of Midwesternness to her.
Agree.
So I
That's a good choice.
thought she'd be great. As far as the main character's sidekick.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to have opinions about Cordelia.
Yeah, I think Queen Latifah.
Oh, I think that's a great choice.
Yeah.
But I want to move along because
Yes.
I want Kent to answer the same question. Which book?
You know, I have a couple of books that I think would be absolutely knockdown, terrific.
Of course you do.
film.
And what are they?
And the reason is this, I don't know about you guys, I write cinematically. When I'm writing, I'm
Yeah.
thinking in terms of the cinema.
Oh,
I think
really?
which is what a lot of people do.
Sure.
This would make a great scene on film.
I
kind
did
of a
with
thing.
my first book, but not with my. Not
Well,
with my,
I'm what can I say, always aware of that.
So
But-
who's going to be Quark?
Well, first of all, there are two books that I would do, and they're the second and third in this series, a book called Boundary Waters and a book called Purgatory Ridge. And Boundary Waters, I think, because when I conceived it, what I wanted to do was create, do you know the movie Speed with
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves?
Yes,
Okay.
sure.
I wanted to write a book that was Speed with canoes. And so it's this race through the boundary waters with bad guys chasing the good guys, and there's lots of tension
It is
and
very
great moments of
cinematic,
suspense
sure.
and all
Sure,
of that.
sure.
So I always thought that would be good. And out there in the woods, you know, that's just,
Yeah.
North Country's classic.
seems like a
that way.
natural. I don't understand
And
why
the
they
other,
haven't done it.
Well, it was optioned. It was one of those 8 out of 10 that didn't get made. The second
Yeah.
book is Purgatory Ridge, and the thing I like about Purgatory Ridge is that so much of it takes place on Lake Superior, and I just think that that's a terrific backdrop for great action.
I agree,
So
naturally.
it deals with the gales, and it deals with diving down to wrecks, and all of those kinds of forest fires are going on in the interior. So lots of big cinematic stuff going on in that book. And in terms of who would play Cork O'Connor, when I wrote the series, began the series, this was back in the early 90s, I really saw Sam Shepard as my
Did you
kind of
really?
an image for
I would
Cork, because I
never
wanted...
have
I would
guessed that.
never have
I know,
thought-
because
yeah.
and that's why I've never described him, because everybody needs to see your protagonist in that way. But it
Yeah.
was Sam Shepard, then he got a little too old, and it became... I thought Ed Harris could do it. He's
Yeah.
a little old now, and so I'm thinking maybe Viggo Mortensen could do a good
Oh,
job.
okay.
Yeah.
I see you as Quark.
Okay.
I
Well, I do-
always,
yeah,
I
I do
hear
too, of
your
course,
voice
yeah.
when I'm reading your books.
Absolutely.
What about you?
Don't have time. We're going to go.
Oh, quick, very quick,
quick.
What? Inner Passages, of course.
Okay.
Because of
And
the sailing on the.
You know who do Mary?
Yes,
Who?
Alice and Janie would do
Oh,
that.
yeah, okay. And who would do?
I don't know. You choose, some other time, because we're running out of time.
Okay.
That's it for this program. I want to thank our guest, Judith Guest, very, very strongly, and my co-hosts, Ellen Hart and Kent Kruger, those fine authors. You can get additional information at our website, www.minnesotacrimewave.org. You'll find links to previous programs, and you can learn about the books we've talked about on this program, as well as all the other books that we talk about. And you can subscribe to our occasional newsletter. The way you do that is you write to us at minnesotacrimewave@yahoo.com. Be sure to mention the title or number of this program, which is number 27. We'll see you next time, and as always, read more mysteries.